Hey guys, Sake here. I want to do a quick video going over my viewpoint on Golems. I'm about to level my new character, and someone was asking me, Taki, why is it that you never use Golems in your build? I'd be really interested to know why it is that you have this weird hate relationship when everyone tries to put Golems into their build. So, there are a few different things that I dislike about Golems. The main thing is they just don't feel particularly good to use and they can kill you. Now, I have an example, and this is a case where it wasn't just my golem which killed me. I also managed to kill myself through weird interactions with Frostwall. So we're going to play this at half speed. We'll just sort of leave that in the background. So this was back in Perendus, and I was doing a champion lightning arrow build. And you can see that I'm quite happily just sort of going through, clearing stuff, no worries. This was back when this used to be a tier 8 map, I believe, and everyone used to always skip the boss because it was super scary, chaos damage. Now, the reason why golems can kill you is in chain maps, if you don't... Okay, this is coming up. Okay, so you can see, now this is back when Frostwall had pierce implications, and a fun little thing that we learned from this is that not only can you use your frost walls to like pierce and stuff, for some reason there used to be a mechanic, or this is what we worked out or what we assumed, where enemy mobs could chain through your frost wall. So just watch where my character is, watch this golem, watch this, and then just watch the poison EK come through. Okay, so you can see I just get randomly dunked. And I have my Chaos Res active, and I had some Chaos Res on my gear. And you go 4k HP. Dude, this is back in Apprentice. Everyone had like 4k HP. And this is with Fortify. So if we play it even slower now. So ever since, this was like the first time where I was like, okay, Golems, I'm not too keen on you. Okay, so wait for it. See the EK come through. Right, you can see EKs come through. Stuff hits Golem, hits me, hits this. Stuff's also chaining through Frostwall. And dead. So, this was aided somewhat by weird Frostwall shenanigans. At first, I was convinced it was just the EK chaining through both myself and the Golem. A lot of people in chat, if you go through the comments, a lot of people thinking that it was stuff to do with the Frostwall. So I was thinking, can't it be boss chain through Frostwall, etc., etc., tested it, chains on Frostwalls, then to nearest enemy, so no Frostwall and chains map. So yeah, that's a good thing to know if they never fix the mechanic in chain maps and never run Frostwall. So that's the case, an extreme case of how golems can get you killed, which obviously for hardcore players isn't particularly good. Now let's look at what the golems themselves give you and the quality of life of using a golem. If you're using something which can potentially kill you, and you could say, but Taki, just never run golems in chain map, how many times has Ziz killed himself to reflect? How many times has anyone accidentally walked into a map they're not meant to walk into? It happens, especially when you play, you know, to the extent where I'll quite happily get ready to sit down for a 12-hour session. Like you can see, it's, you know, 4:30, I'm going to record this video, and then I'm going to knock out leveling my character. That's going to be at least like 8 hours minimum, right? So you get into the session of like, you know, you get a bit tired, you get a bit kind of whatever, you accidentally enter a chain map, you forget to turn off your golem. It kills you. Not only that, the golems themselves don't give you that much, and they use up links. If you look at a lot of my builds, so for example, if we look at the build that I'm planning out now, I am a real fan of Val skills. Most people don't like running stuff like Val Lightning Trap. They will just use the laziest route possible of Vinktars and stuff. I really value my links. I also tend to play a lot of builds which can make use out of a utility totem, be it a decoy totem or a wither totem. So just very briefly through this, you can see I've got a 5-link caustic arrow, I've got a 5-link essence drain for single target, we have a wither totem set up, a frenzy curse on hit set up, then a very basic castle time shaken mortal coil, and then my 2 auras. You can see missing Val lightning trap, golem, blink, put into floating 6 sockets, or cut the duration from wither. So in this case, I could make my wither totem slightly less effective by cutting the duration gem off. I could then throw in my Val lightning trap there, and then I could have both a golem and a blink arrow floating in 6 links, or 6 sockets. Now, what happens if you do get a 6-link? So let's say I get a 6-link caustic arrow, which all caustic arrow builds eventually want a +3 6-link bow. Well, it's like, okay, well now we need to cut something. So we're not going to cut Blink Arrow because Blink Arrow is just too good. And do we cut the Golem or do we cut Vol Lightning Trap? Well, Golems are annoying to use. Golems, if we look, I'm using a Flame Golem in this build. They give me 20% increased damage. Okay. If we look at how much a Lightning Trap would give me. They give Shock. I don't know why I'm making a point of looking this up, but anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Shock gives 50% increased damage. So this is a case of you can also pre-lay the Lightning Trap into situations where I'm going to go into a boss room, throw in the trap, then activate or aggro the boss. I'm going to do a breach, pre-throw some traps, whatever, right? So this is, you could argue, well, this is something that you have to activate. It's not always active. You don't need 20% increased damage for map clear. You need the increased damage for bosses. So in this example of I get a 6-link bow, what am I going to drop? I'm going to drop the Golem before I drop the Vol Lightning Trap. I also never have an issue of, oh look, my Vol Lightning Trap has died. Let's quickly resummon Vol Lightning Trap. Well, then you go, okay, well, Taki, it's easy. Just level up your cast on damage taken a little bit, and then you can run, you know, like a level 12 Golem. So let's say again, okay, so let's say I level up my cast on damage taken a bit, and let's say I ran like a level 12 Golem. So, you know, you go level 12, so it needs to get a level 56 cast on damage taken. That's fine. That would give me 18% damage. We could go even slightly lower. We could go for a level 11, because that's the threshold. So down to 54. That's not that bad. Yeah, but they're so squishy that, again, they constantly die. You're waiting for your cast on damage to proc. You then need to level up your cast on damage so it procs less frequently with the Immortal Call. In this case, it's not that bad, and this is kind of the only times I will run Golems, is when I'm kind of, okay, I'm going to use a slightly leveled cast on damage taken, and then it doesn't feel that bad. But even in those cases, it still feels kind of bad. Okay, well, why don't you just slap in a level 3 Golem? You can fit that into a level 1 cast on damage taken. It will still give you the 16% damage. It will just constantly die. Like, it will always be dead. The Golems got a lot better when they gave them the resists based on the type they're on, which makes them slightly less terrible. But in most cases, it's the thing of the Golems, unless you either level them up to a very high level or you put a bunch of investment in them, they die very easily. Another thing is they don't have much regen. The only Golem I actually enjoy using is the Stone Golem, because what often happens, and you guys will know this, is you have a Golem, you're doing your thing, and your Golem is like knocked down to like 2 HP. It's got literally like 2% HP left. And your casting damage taken stuff, and your stuff is triggering this, that, and the other. And your Golem's just chilling there with like 2% HP. And, like, and you watch it like, I'm going to have to resummon you. So take out casting damage taken, resummon, put the thing back in. It's just like, at least with the Stone Golem, it regens itself up to a point where it doesn't feel that pathetic. But in most cases, it's just an annoying little buff which uses up a link. If it gave more influential buffs, then it wouldn't be that bad. Ones I don't mind. So Chaos Golem, I wish Chaos Golem gave more than 4% mitigation. Because at the point of the annoyance of summoning a Chaos Golem, you could just press Enduring Cry, and Enduring Cry would give you more use. I'd rather choose Enduring Cry. They both use just 1 link. Okay, so that's no. So rip you. Flame Golem is helpful in the fact that it's a way of scaling any kind of damage. So for my Corsico build, it's kind of hard to scale Corsico traditionally, so you get an extra thing. It's alright. The low level version gives you a noticeable-ish. But if you think about it, if you think of a 15% increased damage support gem, you would never run a 15% increased damage support gem. And in the current state of more multipliers and just how powerful the base game is, what would give me more single target damage? Having duration on my Wither, or having 15% increase from Flame Golem? Having the duration on the Wither. So Flame Golem, no, that's out. Ice Golem. Ice Golem, it gives you some accuracy, it gives you some crit chance. In that sense, it's kind of good, because what often happens with crit builds is there's a very fine threshold between not having enough crit and being okay with a Diamond Flask. So in that case, if you're running a crit build which can't get that much crit in the tree and you're really starved for crit, then sure, Ice Golem, it enables your build. This is like one which go, yep, I can understand why you're running it. It's literally enabling your build to function. Most crit builds struggle with accuracy, most crit builds struggle with crit unless they're assassin. I can understand this. Makes sense. Lightning Golem. Lightning Golem, it's good for builds which can double dip off both the attack and cast speed. That isn't that many builds. It's often kind of, I'm playing an elementalist, so I've got a second golem, I get double buff. Let's just put lightning golem in there to get a little bit more either attack or cast speed. Yeah, it's alright. It gives quality of life. I would argue this gives more quality of life than the other golems, because most of the other golems off you don't really notice. Like, you don't notice, 20% increased damage, whereas you will actively notice having 9% attack and cast speed because it makes your character feel smoother. So your Lightning Golem I can get behind, but still doesn't feel that great to use. And then there's Stone Golem. Stone Golem is like the go-to, right, well, I've got one of these in my weapon swap, so if I'm running lab, if I'm doing anything like that, I can, for example, for lab running, I can quite happily take out my duration gem, put it in my weapon swap, put my Stone Golem in, and this is something I can get behind. Having a Stone Golem for certain situations in weapon swap, I'm 100% behind. Stone Golem I like. But yeah, that's basically it. As you can see, it can sometimes get you killed, and then you feel like an idiot. It's generally just annoying to maintain, and with the raw power of gems in the current state, they just don't give enough unless you're doing some, full-on golem mounts of build. But yes, I'm Tarky. I'll give you a course scare update probably, in the next 12 to 24 hours, depending on how smooth the leveling goes. Hope this has cleared up some things. People are wondering, why do you never use golems? Feel free to use them if you like them, but this is just my personal opinion. General rule of thumb, if you have an open slot, try Lightning Trap out instead if you're not already. Bye-bye.